All right. Everybody is dropping in. Fantastic on this Friday, 1 o'clock here, European time. We got lots of attendees. I'm really glad, excited, and happy to see all of you. And I have a little bit of a surprise because this time we're going to do it a little bit different. Because every week we're going to do this live webinar for 45 minutes to talk about selling and to see if we can just, hi everybody, to see if we can increase the results. We all want to be successful and we can. We have so much influence on the results that we get that sometimes we think just by repeating our daily routine and then it's up to the world or the universe. No, we have so much influence, maybe more than 80 or 90%. We can change ourselves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see everybody. So I'm going to promote all of you to actually panelists. I want to see you and I want to talk to you. So bear with me 1 second and then we will all be together. So Alvaro, Aldana, welcome. Blair. Dominic.
Hey, Yuri.
Aaron. Hi. So I'm going to promote everybody to panelists. We can see each other and it is so much more fun because then we can connect and then we can go to the heart of the matter. That's the whole point, isn't it, Mr. Alvaro? Nice to see you.
Absolutely.
Mr. Erik Groen. Wow, that's been a long time, man. My dear friend Brahim. Promote to panelists, promote to panelists. All right. And Bill, I think that's Bill Butts, I think. All right. Now we can all see each other. If you want to talk, if you have a question, then you can just unmute yourself and then that's it. So this 45 minutes is for you, for all of you. But it's not only the Q&A. I'm also, because some of you actually have not participated yet to the crisis selling course. That's not a problem. The course will still be available. And I have good news for all of you. For everybody who hasn't been able to complete the program, I've decided that today I will extend it for another 2 weeks. So don't worry. You get 2 more weeks to follow the assignments and to see certain videos that you have not seen before. So I'm going to share my screen. And when you have a question on any topic, so please just unmute yourself and let's have a brainstorm around it. Now, Mr. Alvaro Aldana, can you just tell me, where are you from?
So I'm Spanish. I live in Madrid, and well, I actually work for Benza. I've been working for Benza for more than 1 year, year and a half, and I work in the quality control and coaching training department. So
Nice.
Obviously, this session is going to be super interesting.
Fantastic. That's great news. And quality control of salespeople, it is possible. It is not just fantasy. They're not easy to control, but it is definitely possible. And meneer Groen, Erik Groen, it's been a long time. How are you? Unmute.
I need to unmute myself. Yuri, yes, it's really been a long time. So I was really curious to see what's going on and what you're doing and how it's aligned with my role as well as sales enablement manager for Europe within
The
Aqua.
same thing. Yeah, fantastic. So you also have the illusion, that's I'm saying, you know, a little bit sarcastic, that you can actually enable sales, and you can. Of course, I also believe in it. That's why I do all these training. The one more person, and then we're going to continue. And Natalie.
Hi, Yuri. I'm Natalie from Athens in Greece, as you very correctly guessed last week. I am here on behalf of a company called WebHelp. And we specialize in HP. I'm a business coach and sales trainer myself. So I found the course very, very interesting and very beneficial.
Fantastic. Ola kala. Efcharisto. Efcharisto. Nice. So it's much nicer that we see each other. So good news, as I mentioned before, 2 weeks additional access for all learners, which is wonderful news. Now, this slide, I assume you all can see it. Now, this is up to debate, of course. But if you see the different type of sellers from a value standpoint and time, the relationship seller is the one that's punished the most in times of crisis. Why? Because relationships, it takes time. If you want to marry a woman, unless you go on some Russian website, you know, you can get married straight away or go to Vegas, but it takes time. You learn each other, you build trust, and you date again. Same thing with selling. Build relationship takes so much time. Obviously, when you know each other for a long time, there is this trust level. In crisis, we don't have the time. That is the problem. A transactional seller may start great because I got a product. I got this great phone. Either you like it or you don't. And if you like it, nice, I'll have it. And now you can go away again. So the transactional seller may start great, but afterwards, it was just a transaction. They have very little knowledge of the actual client, the impact, or anything on that side, because there is no value. So the transactional seller goes down in value perception as time goes on. Then you got the third one, the consultative seller. This is how I am wired myself, and maybe a lot of you. We understand that by truly understanding our clients and the problems that they face, that we help them, we guide them, and quickly you'll see the more time we spend, the better we get. And if we don't have enough time, an hour and a half, in fact, the more time you spend with me, the consultative seller, the more you realize, wow, this guy or this woman can truly help my business. The consultative seller is I think, from the last 10, 20 years, regarded as the highest of levels. However, in crisis, the consultative seller, they need some time to get into the driver's seat. In times of crisis, the consultative seller cannot start pitching a product because then they're in transaction. They cannot start with the relationship because there's no time. So there's a starting gap. And the crisis seller needs to fill this gap by quickly assuming that there is some value and showing already, not just consultative, because it's almost like a game, right, Blair? I mean, we know each other from a longer time. I think 3 years ago, the consultative seller is almost like a game. It's saying, hey, Blair, so tell me, what are your challenges? You say, well, ABC is my challenge. Oh, ABC. Oh, I can do something with ABC. It's like a game. You tell me what I want to hear, and I follow up on that. In times of crisis, we don't have enough time to play this game. So if I ask all these questions, then clients, they don't have the time to educate you on their problems. So we need to assume certain problems. We need to be so business savvy and domain experts that I understand my product so well that with a little bit of research, I'm going in high, and I'm going in where the value lies. And then I also grow the same as consultative seller. So as a crisis seller, you need to be so on top of your game, because it's not easy to start high and to start relevant. But if you cannot show it in the beginning, then you may not have time to change later on. And then maybe some of you have learned already how important commitment is. If you start low, you lose commitment. There is no commitment because you're too low on the value. And if they're too low on the value, then you keep convincing the other party throughout the entire sales or the buyer journey, and then you end up with no deal. So how can we start high on the value perception? This is one of the biggest challenges that we all face as salespeople. Now, crisis skill, there are a few skills that we need, 5 skills that some of you know. I'm going to go through every skill, and I would like to ask not each and every single one of you, but one of you to ask a question regarding the course, regarding your reality, what one of your biggest challenges lie. with each skill. So it's not just me talking, but Q&A session I would like it to be as interactive as possible. So the crisis skill number 1 is direct pitching. As I mentioned earlier on the previous slide, we need to start in high. So that means I have to research. I cannot be too generic. It's all about you, so I need to prepare and personalize. Then the I do conversation starter is an opportunity I see for you, and I can validate that. So that is do you still see it if I do it like this? I think so, right? The slide. So the relevant trend, then the company that you're pitching to, then the person that you're pitching to, and then the opportunity you foresee for them, especially in these times. Now, of course, we are assuming, so we need to check. I cannot assume that my brilliant idea is therefore also true. However, if you're really good, then there's a great chance that you're probably right. That's the whole point. So that means that the pitch, it's not generic, it's not a product, but it's not, yeah, let's see what we can do for each other. I'm a great company regarding this and this. So any questions that you have or that you have realized or that you're working on that you want to dive into this particular pitch funnel? Any questions? Blair?
Yeah, so the work that we do and my team does, this really starts on the targeting side. So we really focus on the personas that could potentially have the same challenges or issues or business cases, because otherwise there's just no point in calling somebody. What we found in this particular environment is that prospects fall into three categories: those that have the pain, want to do something about it, willingness and the ability to do something about it; those that are unsure if they have the pain, are interested in having a conversation, but don't really know if there's any willingness or ability. And then these are the most frustrating. They have the pain, they want to do something, but there is a structural impediment in the ability to do something. So in those cases, for example, especially during this time of business uncertainty, where they've basically come down and said there are no new projects, there's no new expenditures, everybody's just staying exactly the way they are. And for us, the only way that we can actually mitigate this is to focus on that first group that knows they have the pain, or want to do something about it, and are willing to do something. So that it's a lot of work to find. It's a lot of work. Literally, like if you think about it, I've seen a few of these what are called sales pyramids. We're literally finding the top 1 to 3% that are in the buying window that actually need something.
Fantastic. Yeah.
And it's a lot of hard work, but that's what we do.
Nice. I think it's brilliant what you're saying, and I may have an idea for you to make it even a little bit more brilliant. I know it's very difficult with you, Mr. Blair, but I would suggest, because there's one little problem with here. If you find a buying persona that has the problem and is willing to do something about it, still that person can be overruled throughout his journey at any point in time.
100%.
So what would be nice is to call in even higher on C-level. And don't ask if they have the pain and if they're willing to do about it.
Right.
But assume that they have and they should be doing something about it. And if you get that commitment from C-level, because these people that the buying personas, it doesn't matter if they're willing or not, because the ones that are willing are overruled, and the ones that are unwilling can also be overruled that they should, because everybody's running around and they don't know what they're supposed to do. So if we call in higher, it's not just a buying persona. We call in as high as possible, and then say, listen, I know that we don't have a lot of time. I was thinking about your company, and I may have an idea. And that is. I'm not sure if you've seen that particular video, but the problem is that you're a brilliant person, Blair. So any person that wants to do something with lead gen, Blair is your guy. So the problem with brilliant people like you, and also Brahim is brilliant, and Leontine and Eran, and I know some of you. So the problem with brilliant people is that you hold your information and you don't share it. Your thoughts, your ideas, you keep it to you, and then there comes this fabricated artificial pitch or these questions. Why don't we share our thoughts? If you were the CEO of this company, what do you think their challenges are? And isn't it a great opportunity to do something right now about it? And if they say, this sounds really interesting and maybe we should, then the game starts. But we are used to, as salespeople, to find the buying persona, to see if there's budget, to see if there's a problem. But the problem is that it takes now so much time, opportunities, but the conversions are too low. And I think this is my assumption, this entire assumption of this entire training, that inside these buying personas, when the salesperson is not there, when they have a dialogue, the 80-90% of these projects never see light of day. And I think it's a waste of all of our effort to be part of that. And we should do like the old-fashioned way, just go in, C-level, and just go straight to be, and that's another opportunity, Blair, is that if we go straight on the highest of levels, this is what we used to do when they had all the power. But the last 10 years, they've been delegating this responsibility. But when companies are under pressure, they have lost that authority. So it goes back to the people.
Right.
And that's a huge opportunity for us. Before we continue, I would love to hear your.
No, I agree with you. I think the key point is targeting, right? I think that if you're targeting the right perspective, so whether it's C-suite or what I call a second in command, because usually the second in command or chief of staff is the one who gets all this shit, right? Because it all rolls down to them, and they're the ones who have to deal with it. So I think that if you can alleviate their pains, they have significant influence to get to the funding buyer or to the funding persona. So I think that's the point, is that we need to focus on, if we're smart with our targeting, both from a demographic and a firmographic perspective, we're going to be successful in especially if we have good product market fit. Yeah,
nice. Fully agree. So let's we have to keep challenging each other. Thank you, Blair, for your great insight. Anybody wants to talk about this particular pitch funnel, to call in high, to not ask what they want, but we tell them what they should want, and get that validated. It's a different kind of starting point. Anybody that has a thought or a question on that before we continue? No? All right. Is there? I'm not sure if there's a particular reason why people turn off their cameras.
Dave said he wanted to say something.
Sorry, who?
Yuri.
Yes.
How are you doing?
Yeah, very good. Oh, sorry. I see that. All right, go for it, Mr. McGurk.
You mentioned in one of the areas about groupthink. I feel as if it's more a case of crisis bystander apathy, where people are standing by not doing anything. Now, I don't know if the rest of the guys are in a similar position, but I feel that I'm spending most of my efforts in trying to convince people whether to talk or to progress, to close. And sometimes it does feel like I'm banging my head against a brick wall. I'm not getting anywhere with them because of this apathy. Is there anything that you could recommend to do differently?
No, great question. So just imagine if you were a fly on the wall and you got 8 people sitting around and everybody's looking at each other. Let me share an anecdote. This is a nice anecdote. So I'm sorry that I'm talking about anecdotes, but I think it's when I was traveling around the world. There was Erik. This was before I joined BT, so it's a long time ago. So I was in New Zealand. I was in a place called Christchurch, and I went actually with my dad to the cinema, and we watched the movie together. Sadly, my dad is not here anymore, so actually I'm glad that I can share a story where my dad is here, part of it right now with me. So I'm in a cinema, and we're watching this movie, and the volume is low. It's too low. The volume is just too low. And there are, I don't know, there are about maybe 80 or 90, maybe a little less than 100 people are in this cinema. And the volume is way too low. And I'm not old. I think my ears are doing fine, but the volume is too low. And nobody does anything. Everybody's sitting there. Nobody does anything. Like, what the hell? Come on, guys, you're paid to see a movie. And everybody just sits there. And the majority of people are afraid to take a stand. They're afraid to take a stand because they may look ridiculous. They're afraid to take a stand and may be wrong. Or they're afraid to take a stand because they know what to say, but they don't want to be seen as arrogant. And then people will think, oh, he or she knows it better. So then your way to be the first is not easy. So if you're talking about apathy, Dave, you got this group thing, you got these people, and they're afraid to move. And you see the people looking at each other. I give trainings now for more than 15 years. And when there's an assignment, there are two ways for the trainers out there. There are two ways to get the group activated. Either you say, this is what I do right now, Eric or Jalali or Dave, I mention your name to invite you to speak. Or I say, does anybody have to say? So those are two different things. One is the group and one is the person. But if I ask a group question that is kind of tough, people start to look at each other. And this group dynamics in times of crisis is something that we should not underestimate. If we assume that we can convince one person and they will just convince the others by themselves, or budget will automatically be spent, you're wrong. That's why you're banging your head. Well, Dave, you don't have, it's okay, still your forehead, so that's good. Yeah, that's fine. But I mean, because you're convincing, and when you're convincing, it means that your parrot, or your monkey, but let's say a parrot, so the parrot is on your shoulder. So I keep convincing all the time, but it shouldn't be here. It should be in that group. So I think the biggest challenge is that when we have this funnel, this first crisis skill, and we have to ask those questions to understand, okay, who's doing what very early in the process, to know who are the movers and the shakers, because maybe it's a second in command, as Blair said, maybe it's a C-level, or maybe it's somebody else. But if you know how this process works, you can not only influence, but you should find who's going to own it. And and the owner of the issue is not the same as the person that's accessible. And it's certainly not the one that's responsible, because the one that's responsible, like Blair said, he or she may get the shit, but may not get the shit done. Those are two different things. But we say, okay, who is responsible for it? And you start pitching to the head of purchasing. Doesn't matter. I consult now so many companies, and I see a lot of VPs and a lot of directors. They got so little power. They got nothing to say. Some will be fired soon. I consult some companies, and I know some will be fired because they're just not strong enough. And if a C-level person knows, okay, that person is not going to make it, then you're pitching to someone who may have budget theoretically, but they will be overruled by somebody else. And if we don't know that, if we just assume, okay, I'm going to convince, even getting a job. I know some people are looking to get a job. You're convincing and convincing. No, we should turn it around. The pain and the desire, the opportunity, the impact of the company that you're pitching to, that sits central, and get that validated. And then if they agree, ask, who's going to own this? Do you really want to solve this? Are you really going to do it in your company? You are the CFO. Who's going to make this happen? Who's going to drive this? Ask it. And that's a different question than, who's the decision maker? Because then they're thinking the formal decision lines. There's nothing formal about anything anymore. So we need to know in Dutch it's called, there's some Dutch people here because I'm from Amsterdam. So Natalie, I'm sorry to use a Dutch expression, but it's hoe de hazen lopen. And that is something, that's how the bunnies walk. I'm sorry, Dave, it's a terrible expression, but we need to know this stuff. So the moment we are in, that is the moment, especially with impact analysis, that we know, okay, is this really a high priority? And if it's not a high priority, I'm not going to waste my time. We used to think about nurturing leads. You can nurture all you want. If it's not relevant now, I say, you know what? I'll revert back to you in February, March. I'm not going to go back in 2 weeks, in a month, and in another month, and another month. In a month's time, nothing will be different. Don't chase your prospect that has other stuff on their mind. Learn about what they have on their mind, and just find another person that actually has that critical issue in times of crisis that you can solve. Focus on where you can make the difference today. Don't just spray and pray and manage this bulk of irrelevance. So all about priority, asking essential questions to find out. And when you get this validated, that's it. That's it. And there you go. And it's not just theory. I've been applying it for myself. Today, actually, I'm not sure if it's a coincidence. It's Friday the 13th. What a lucky day. But it was also Friday the 13th back in March. I lost 100% of my business because I'm a physical trainer and a coach and I speak on events. Nothing, zero. I got employees, I got a lease car, I got a wife, I got 3 kids, I got a house, I got an office, I got expenses, 10, 15K a month, and then I go to zero. So all these companies, they are in trouble. And how can I say, yeah, okay, are you looking for training? Training, who cares about training? So I need to find, what do you need today? And I need to turn it around, but not my usual people. I have to go higher than I ever did before. So the skill number 3, and I'm already mentioning it, is band has changed. Now, a lot of people will know bands. It's the need, the authority, the budget, and the time. But I don't hear commitment. I don't care if you have the needs. Okay, everybody has needs. I don't care if you got authority, because authority and need doesn't mean that you will make the decisions. The need is fine. We all have needs. And then timing, okay, no, when would you like to do it? Yeah, I would like to do it yesterday. It doesn't mean it will get done. I want commitment. If you're not going to dance with me, I'm sorry, I'm going to put my energy and my time as a salesperson somewhere else. Because I know conversions are, I'm looking for deals. I'm not looking for opportunities that never go to fruition. I remember, Erik, this is when we were colleagues, I remember that Achmea, a big Dutch insurance company, they wanted an RFI on the future of the office. And I remember there was zero commitment, there was no relationship, nothing. And they wanted a future vision. And I decided not to do this bid. And I think everybody hated me for it. There was no way, I cannot win a deal. If I cannot win a deal, or at least that I'm convinced, I'm not going to play. Meedoen is niet belangrijker dan winnen. I'm here if I believe that I can actually see that there is a contract possible, even if it takes 1 month or 2 months. The steps are clear. So I'm going to qualify on commitment. Yesterday, I coached a company that are pitching innovation services to Portugal, to the government. And they're pitching and they need to send a proposal. The problem is the real stakeholders, they have no access. So they got the evaluators and they're going to pitch to the stakeholders. I said, do you have access to those stakeholders? No. So there's no commitment. I said, yeah, but they want to see the proposal. They're going to pitch it internally. They need my help. I said, how do you know what they want to see, what their interests are? Right now, they're not going to spend 300,000 euros just because there is budget. They will also be evaluating it. Make sure you include them. Don't send it. Yeah, but then they might go with somebody else. And that's where you become the weaker person. If you go and play their game, there's little chance that they will be successful. So we have to be strong and say, no, I need to get access to the relevant stakeholders. But you have to sell it. You're going to say, yeah, I want it. No, but you're not going to get it like that. We have to sell it that we want access. And how do you sell it? So you sell it in a way that benefits them. For example, you'll say, we have a specific workshop designed based on what your company needs in the future. And we need input from one of the C-suite people. Or the proposal will include a risk reward part, which is more from a business standpoint. So only from as the CFO, we need their input to see what kind of financial risk you would like to take as a partnership. Or think of something that you need access, and without it, you cannot move forward. Otherwise, you get stuck, and this group dynamics will screw you over. So commitment to the process. No commitment, I ain't gonna play. You know my prices, you know my product. You want the transactional seller, let me know what you want to buy. You want my help? Then this is what I need. So we got to sell it. So transactional seller, if people want to buy training from me, sure. You want me to analyze your situation, what you truly need? Okay, then I need some stuff from you. Sensitive information, access to stakeholders, commitment on the process. You don't have to sign. You can still say no later on. It's fine, because I know I also need to prove myself. It's fine. I don't say commitment from a signature standpoint, but if we're gonna dance, we're gonna dance serious. If I want to date you, then don't give me 5 minutes. I need a little bit more time. 6. No, sorry. Any other questions on this side?
So what do you mean? What do you mean by when you say commitment to the process? Like I hear what you're saying, but basically what you're saying is that if the prospect at some point in the journey is not prepared to commit to the next step, that you're out, you're done.
Okay. So commitment to the process. So Blair, assume that you're excited with something. So Blair, I hear that you're really excited about this opportunity, right?
Absolutely.
Nice. Okay. So typically in your situation, because we're talking about 150,000 investment, there are 4 steps involved before. You mentioned that before the end of the year, you want to make the decision. So that means that we need to have these 4 steps concluded. One of which would be a meeting with your CTO to understand the technology requirements. Secondly, what I really would like to do is to make a business case to make sure that this does get the return that you're looking for right now. And hopefully if I'm able to do that as well, also what time, because you need to return fast, that we spoke about. And thirdly, I want to do a final presentation with the relevant stakeholders, that's the CTO, the CFO, and yourself, to make sure that all areas are covered, because I don't want to make sure that there's any caveats. Are you able to commit to these 3 steps? Because then I would love to spend time and to see if this opportunity is great for the both of us.
I don't really know.
Okay, what do you need to tell me?
Okay.
What do you need to tell me before we start?
Whether
I'm not sure that I could really get my CTO involved in this process at this stage. I guess if I was selling to me, that's when I would stop everything and I'd say, what the hell's really going on here? Sorry, I don't understand. You told me this, I'm confused. So either you play the game or you don't play the game. So that's why the crisis seller starts very high on value perception. If the opportunity is great, you want to include your CTO. But if the opportunity is not that great, say, Yuri, no, I don't think the CTO has time for this. Well, apparently it's not a priority, man. If it's a priority, of course it's no problem to include. Why would you jeopardize not getting the opportunity done?
Yep. No, that's fair. At what stage in the selling process do you sort of outline what that journey is going to look like? On the first call, on the next call?
Okay. Where? Great question. Blair, you're on fire, man. So great question. So that means that it is not one call, or sorry, it could be 1 call or 2 calls, maybe 3, but that's already too much. So basically it is when the salesperson starts to invest real time, that's the moment you have that parrot on your shoulder that you're convincing and sharing product information, showing no. You sell the opportunity. And the opportunity needs to be validated. And maybe you need 1 or 2 conversations. But if they accept, okay, there is a great opportunity for us. We can buy these new laptops because they work faster, or we should do this security because there's too much risk, or we should hire this headhunter because we need that person, whatever the need is. If it's seen as crucial, the proving part and the validating part, that is something that you need commitment to the process. The promise, that's it. The promise needs to be clear and validated. And of course, 1 conversation is too short. They don't, I trust you, but they don't trust you so fast. And it also depends on the level of investment, the level of risk. And so there are more variables involved, but 1 or 2, but not more than 2. A serious conversation, if you can have it in your first call, 30 minutes or an hour, that's fine. Or you have a first 10-minute call, you do 1 discovery call. After the discovery call, that's it. If you cannot sell the opportunity good enough, then there's something wrong in 2 calls. But the problem is salespeople don't get commitment to the process. They just continue. And maybe there's a next step if they're great. But one of the videos of the course says, sell like a chess player. And a chess player is not only thinking about the next step. That is a poor salesmanship. It also means you don't see this as a project. You don't feel the deadline. You don't feel the sense of urgency. You don't see the timeline when it should begin. You want to get things done. I'm part of your team. So if I'm selling to all of you, I'm part of your team. I'm a leader. I'm the guy that takes down or moves up the volume in the cinema. I'm not going to be one of your lookers that is like kind of, you know, I don't want to be seen as a pushy salesperson. So I'm also going to wait. I'm just another waiter. And then everybody is waiting to each other. No, I'm a leader, with respect, but most of all, I'm committed myself to the opportunity. So that means I will drive it. And sometimes they need the salesperson drive to push all these people that are afraid to make choices and decisions, especially large organizations, especially when there's politics involved. And the salesperson doesn't care about politics. He wants results. Nice. That's a good part. Maybe I can cut this.
Yuri, can I ask a question also, please? So
yes,
I do agree that selling during a time of crisis has a whole different logic than our prior life, for example. And I do agree that the BANT model has changed also. So my question to you is, in your opinion, do you think this new way of treating the BANT model, is this something that we're doing now because we're living a time of crisis, or is this something that we should keep in the future as well in our approach to sales?
Wow, great question. So let me buy me some time, and that's a great question. So what's after the crisis? So if all the dust settles down, how will the BANT thing look like, or the BANT qualification? I think this crisis selling, this is going to be the new way of selling. And I'm not just talking about remote selling, because that's the next course. I'm not going to talk about remote selling, because that's also here to stay. It's just sped up the process, or sped up, I think. So it sped up the process. And let me explain why I think that. Is marketing does every year more of the sales cycle. Every year, marketing is creeping into the sales zone. And every year, salespeople are doing less and less initial outreach. Cold calling, and now cold calling is under pressure, and we're moving into LinkedIn bots and email marketing. So the salesperson is doing less and less. That's why, okay, so to go back. So marketing does more of sales. It's automated. And so that means that clients that need salespeople and that guidance means that they need someone to talk to that can actually help them. So BANT will be done for the most part by marketing. So the moment if I'm ready to speak to sales, I should be ready not to buy, but I'm already considering to buy. And at that point, there's no need for a salesperson to qualify on budget, because they already know the prices. Authority, okay, you need to find out who makes decisions, but apparently it's a project. Need, they come already with a need. It's not something you have to discover. And time, they're going to spend time. So they need something else, so that the salesperson time gets more and more expensive, because everything else will be automated and done by marketing. So salespeople will become smarter and smarter and more senior. And in that case, they need to add more to their process. And I think if you read through all these skills, you need to help them buy. We need to influence their buyer journey, not just because we want to close the deal, but because we know if we just allow them to go with their buyer journey, everybody's writing about it. Gartner and Serious Decisions, others are already mentioning it. It's very difficult for companies to buy because this alignment and requirements, it's chaos. So a salesperson will be the person, you know, with light and darkness in a way. They will guide it. So now we need to guide in crisis time, but after crisis, then we still need to guide them more, because we get when marketing is done, if we don't have value on the inside, and if they do a great self-diagnose what they need, then the added value of a salesperson is diminished to a very low level. So let's see what happens, Natalie. Let's see what happens. A great question. I would love to brainstorm more about it. I love this question, Evharisto.
Thank you for the answer, Yuri. Thank you.
Yeah, you're more than welcome. Anybody has something specific you want to ask? Meneer Pierik, usually you are always take the stage. René, do you want to you want to add a question or a comment on this side?
Well, I just want to clarify that I'm totally agreed on the way that things are changing from a band perspective. I fully agree, and I think that we as sales professionals need to get more alignment on the problem and the priorities within our customer group. And from a group think perspective, we should get all the stakeholders aligned, because like you addressed in your video, they don't know the problem by themselves. So we have to help them, engage them in the buying process to get things clear.
Yeah, fantastic. If you can do that, there's little chance, if you can demonstrate value, that you don't get the deal. You have so much control. This is what we want. We play if there's a great chance of closing. So let's finish the crisis selling skills. We see crisis selling skill number 4, and that is business validation. We need to validate. First of all, my product says what it says it does. If you know, it's same as a car. If you open up the trunk and the engine, you want to make sure it actually works. Yeah, I need the car, but does it start? Can it brake? Can it do what it says it does? Like IT, the software, the hardware, does it do what it says it does? That is the validating the product or service. You also need to validate the impact it has. It's not just a product, the car, but can I reach the speed? Does it have the safety? Can I put all my kids in the back? So that is validating the impact and also the business value from that. And then the third one, we need to do it again. Because Blair, as I mentioned before, maybe you liked my pitch and the opportunity, and maybe you were committed to the process. However, that was a promise in the beginning, or a premise. Now I've done all my due diligence, spoke to the CTO, spoke to everybody, then I need to go back. I need to validate, is this really needed? Just because you can get some value out of it doesn't mean that you have to do it. I can do 1,000 things that make me more money today, but I can't. My head will explode and my bank account as well. So in a negative way, I mean that. So I don't have the bandwidth. I have a limited resources and capacity. So I need to validate necessity again before. Now, and then we go to crisis selling skill number 5, add to close. So after I've done the business validation, that's the moment. That's actually the moment I send a proposal. So I do everything before. Now, it's not easy because people want to see products and prices and a proposal very early in the process. And then they're going to screw around with their colleagues and not make a decision. So if you turn it around, we need to postpone it and get our foot in the door to help them in their buyer journey, to kind of wait for the proposal. But the proposal actually is a live stakeholder review. This is what we do together as a conclusion of your project, as a conclusion, and hopefully to make that call on that moment, because there's nothing left to think about. But we are used to work right now. Okay, if it's 2K deal or 5,000 euros, it's fine, send it, done. It's easy. I even make decisions on 2 or 3K, and I'm a tiny company. Big companies can do this decision, but high-end 10, 20, 50K, if it's serious, we shouldn't send a proposal out naked to be misinterpreted, to be forwarded to people that have no clue why they should buy this and who came up with this project. We need to save it so it's properly introduced, properly evaluated while we are there. So we can also influence. And people say, oh, no, we shouldn't do it because we already have it. No, this is actually different. Oh, why is that? There is no dialogue if the proposal is just forwarded, it's gone viral, you don't know who's going to see it. And if you don't know the informal path, and maybe it will be killed by a person you know exists. And I'm not going to play a game. If I want this deal, I make sure I'll protect it and it's resilient and it will go to close. And then the third one is closing on urgency, because something is great, but I want to know, what is the cost of inaction? Why should you be doing this now, especially in times? Because I know people will ask tough questions. Should we do this? Should we do that? And I want to preempt it. I want to protect it. I want to have it proven together with my people, my customer. And that is the way to truly own this particular deal, the path to close, and then bam, you're in. So this is designed to protect the salesperson's time and your ability to add value, get commitment, and then interest to urgency, and from urgency to close. So this is the summary of the essence of crisis selling, because some of you are here for the first time and not everybody has access to the content. So we spoke about crisis selling, direct pitching. We need to start high, impact analysis to go for priority, and then we need to qualify on commitment. And then we got the process done. Then we have to validate it. We send a proposal, and then it's the path to close. These are specific skills, especially great for now. But of course, you need a lot of different skills. Objection handling, presentation, remote selling. There are thousands of skills. In this course, I focus on the skills that make a difference when there's uncertainty. Without these skills, you got salespeople that send proposals to the wrong people. They're dancing until never land. Chase people that have no inclination to ever move forward. Don't know who the real stakeholders are because they just focus on decision making, but not who influences this process. So if we get this stuff done well, I can assure you that you can be successful, but it requires a high level of knowledge and know what you're doing. And you need to be confident and say no in an elegant way, but also in an inviting way, that there's a reason why you say no, because you have a better process, because your process leads to success and their process leads to discussions and inaction. Inaction. A lot of stuff doesn't get done, and these C-level people get frustrated. So much uncertainty, and you got these people, deer headlights, not doing anything. They're paralyzed. Apathy, they've used even that word. So this is your added value as a crisis seller, and this should be so attractive that you have on your WhatsApp C-level people. I got a few of these guys on WhatsApp, and they want me there because they know I won't let go. I bite and I won't let go, but I focus on value, not just to get my product sold. That's why I get that trust and that intimacy. So I even haven't looked at time. 13:48. Wow, that's the 45 minutes, 3 minutes more. I hope that you enjoyed it, but still, if you have a question or comment, please, that's why we have this particular webinar. So I haven't spoken to Mr. Rosenfaven. I don't know if your camera works, but I'm interested to know where you are. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe he logged off already. Any person, sorry?
I'm actually here. Hi, everyone.
Ah, nice. So where are you from?
I'm from Stockholm. My name is Fabian. Yeah, hi. Very interesting, very relevant. I work with business development for a consulting company, and we offer services within technology and business agility, and this is totally relevant.
Nice, fantastic. So what is your role within your company?
So I do complex sales, meaning I approach the C-level and propose capabilities and services around business agility. It's all about becoming more agile in ways of working, and this is kind of complex doing these type of projects because it's quite of a risk and a commitment. So right now, the companies in the Nordics, so especially in Stockholm, Sweden, are not looking to put that investment because they need to engage so many people. So the sales cycles are very unsecure. I really don't know where and who is the sort of formal and informal decision maker at this point.
Yeah. So it would be interesting to, because I'm not sure if you're part of the training, right?
No, this is my first time. I actually saw
Yeah.
this course the other day. Yeah, this
Nice.
thing. Yeah.
Okay, so you're more than welcome, of course, to participate in a program. You have 2 weeks access, and another 2 weeks it will be online. But I would love to work and also brainstorm with you how to have a very high level of value perception and to get that commitment, because I can imagine that especially in your industry with complex sales, you can lose yourself in these long sales cycles.
Yeah, I mean,
it can
it's
be very
easier.
difficult.
You're right. It's easier when you're dealing with technology. You know, you can sort of quantify and qualify the needs versus talking about process and change management.
Yeah, but it's possible. It is definitely possible. It's how to make soft things hard, and you can put real numbers, even if it's about working together. I helped a person. This is a strange example. She's a meditation coach. She does meditation, and she wanted to sell to a very big company this program of meditation and stress relief, and, especially in these times.
Mm-hmm.
And she couldn't sell it. So I said, you have to call in high. You have to show them what kind of money he could be losing if people go under, and show how meditation could help. But it shouldn't be for everybody, but people that want it and need it.
Mm-hmm.
So she changed her pitch. And then I said, well, you cannot just sell it, because the CEO is afraid that he will be laughed at. Because CEO says, yeah, we're going to do meditation and mindfulness. A lot of people say, oh, this is so soft, right? So there is also this fear of, no, the times of crisis and now we're all going to meditate. Are you nuts? So they say, okay, in terms of commitment, before they spend all the money, put something in between, do a masterclass, get it paid for, to show the value, something soft. Because if you and a question could be, okay, who are the key players you might lose in your company that are really important? So you can quickly show a business case by making sure something as soft as mindfulness. You have to look at the potential impact of your proposition and see and go from there. And that is what you're selling, not your service, not your solution, but what is the impact and why is it important? You have to feel it yourself. If you go to a particular company, you have to ask yourself, why should they spend a lot of money today on your agility and these change managers and these processes? Why is it crucial for them? If you don't know, then you start as a consultative seller. It's not bad, but the consultative seller also starts low. We need to start high. You have to have an idea. And if your idea is logic, it doesn't even have to be right. Because if you say, yeah, the sky is blue, isn't it? That's why I thought of this. They say, yeah, I can see your thinking. However, I'm in Mars. It's not blue. Okay, I didn't know you were in Mars. It's fine. But your idea should resonate. And if your idea resonates, you start very high.
Thanks a lot.
Tack så mycket.
Dankjewel.
Nederlands.
Gotcha.
Yeah, impressive. Very impressive.
Yeah.
So any other questions that you may have right now? We got time. I got 1 till 2 o'clock. Before we continue, hopefully Iran or somebody else has a question. However, if you have to leave, because I'm very conscious of your time, because time is money and urgency. So if you have to leave, I'm not offended. You can say, Yuri, I'm out of here. Thank you for your time. You're welcome to leave. Don't feel that you're obliged to wait until everybody's gone. So if you have to go, please feel free. You can stay because I have another call at 2 o'clock. So I got 6 more minutes. So any other questions that you may have or an idea or suggestion, because there's so much sales knowledge here as well. So I'm not just talking to learners, I'm talking to peers. That's how I view it. So like Jilali, Blair, there's a lot of sales knowledge in here. So any ideas that you have or questions, please, this is the platform. We got 6 minutes, all yours. No, then I give the final word to Mr. Ayaba. You're in Brazil, I learned. So as a final conclusion, what is your take on this?
Well, first of all, thank you so much, Yuri. It's all very relevant. From what I hear, a lot is about engaging with the customer and trying to get a hold of, a grip on the process. But as a final thought, perhaps I would like to add that disengaging and walking away can be sometimes just as valuable, because it gives you the opportunity to spend your valuable time, as you say, on other prospects and other clients that are willing to engage. So you should use yourself in one process.
Yeah, nice. Nice, great thought. So we, for the people that you're in Brazil, but for people that are in Europe, I know in a few hours the weekend starts. So I would like for you to reflect upon your personal power. What can you change? I'm asking myself, I've been selling since I was 22, B2B IT, always. And every time, and I've been sales training already for 15 years, but I assume that every day is like a new day and I can learn and reflect on every single sales conversation I have. And I know I can do better. Even when I'm in this topic and I live it and breathe it, I still know that I can do better. So hopefully you're able to look in a mirror and see from a mindset standpoint or the skills. You have all the training online, and you still have access, and I will respond to any question that you have, even though officially the program has ended now. You still have 2 weeks access. So Natalie, Dave, Blair, anybody of you that you have questions, I will still be here to answer that for another 2 weeks. I'm here to help, and I really want everybody to be successful and not let potential deals go wasted just because we couldn't identify the right people, or we didn't ask for the commitment, or we didn't share our thoughts and we kept it to ourselves. So I want to wish everybody a wonderful weekend. I know it's crisis selling, but crisis can be a good thing if we show that we can stand up and be proud of ourselves, that we can overcome this. And so this is from my heart to you. Good luck with everything. Let's stay in touch. And if you need me, I'm here.
Thanks a lot.
You're more than welcome.
Thank you for the course, Yuri. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Yuri.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Yuri. Thanks.
Bye-bye. Take care.